Good morning, sir.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Kindly share your screen right now, please. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hello, can you see my face?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, congratulations for your first online webinar with Genius. I really appreciate your hard work for last year and this year. So we appreciate all attendees to participate this webinar, even if it's a quite early time. So thank you. So let me start the first session. Okay, Genius is a network, the security, the based in company in South Korea. We've been working in this cybersecurity sector the more than 15 years, especially in network access control, NAC market. We have been number one more than a decade in South Korean market. So generally, NAC is designed for protecting, corporate IT assets from the non-compliant devices or unauthorized access from the users. So as long as the company has the IT asset to be protected, it is generally needed for all IT company or most of all. But particularly, the industry that has a high compliance demand, such as like bank, finance, or the government or national infrastructure sector, they have more the high demand. So in the banking sector, we have 14 out of 16 tier one banks and top 10 the global the enterprises who has multiple branches and then also the manufacturer all of the places, and they need to manage all the devices and also the national infrastructure such as railroad and water, airport, and also the more than 70% of the government sector are all use Genius now. So we are also representative, the NAC vendor from both Gartner and then Frost Server. About Gartner, they announced the Gartner NAC Market Guide for which been already 3 years since 2018 and 20, and this year's 21 newest version also released. Also, they announced Genius as one of the representative vendor. We are also publicly listed in company in South Korea since 2017. We have highly tech based in company. You can find our Genius regional partner very near you. About our company, we have two main offices. One is in South Korea, which is headquarters, including the R&D, which is where our team is the base working, and also USA office. They are the global leading office. They are located in San Francisco. So we work close with iAID, who is the Genius distributor of the Philippines. So we all know last year was very tough time. Everyone was like that. So, but because of our partners' really effort and their resellers' help, Genius gradually spread the market influence, even also the APEC area. Especially in the Philippines, last year we closed one of the biggest NAC deal since we started this global business. So we really appreciate iAID and their team and their reseller. We closed one of the largest the IT infrastructure industry in the Philippines. We have over 1,600 plus customer references all over the world, including Fortune 500, and also it includes the mainly well-known Korean the big enterprises, just like Samsung or Hyundai. We have been trying to penetrate the market of the APEC and Middle East since 2018. So it's been only like 4 years, but including like almost 2 years of the COVID situation. But we gradually penetrate market. So we closed a large energy plant from the Philippines last year, and also we closed the large media company from the broadcasting the, the sector in the Malaysia, and also the finance from the Indonesia, and also several hospital and NGO, and also the finance from the Middle East market. I believe this pandemic isn't over soon, even if we have get vaccinated, and some companies already have over 50% of vaccination progress, but still it's far to go. Because we can also find some of the different variants of the COVID from which it came from the India, is spread from the England and also the America. So I believe it still take more time to fully vaccinate more than 70% of the population of each countries, and hopefully we can actually travel the Philippines and support our partners and customers directly. But unfortunately, I believe it will take more than 1 year to be able to do that. So just rather than stand down and do nothing, we'd like to request all our partner and reseller to do more the pre-sales activity through the online. So Genius, we have the real time based on sales and tech communication, and also we try to raise our brand awareness through the online virtual event, just like Genius original event, and also we participate our partners the official webinar, just like this one event. So we hope we can get through this the horrible the disaster, and we can overcome, and we believe we can have a better chance of business soon. So thank you. So this is the end of the first session. So I'm going to move on to the second session as well. Okay, so this is the second session. In this session, I'm going to talk about zero trust, the model. So I believe many of you are already familiar with the word zero trust. So it means trust nobody until it is verified. So in this session, I'm going to talk about more zero trust network security. In this session, we will talk about meaning of zero trust network security in our business, and what is the model of it. And we will also check what is the Genian next approach of zero trust network security. So the word zero trust was created in 2010 by the Forrester research. Zero trust became more popular after Gartner announced zero trust security access is a core component. Then what does a zero trust mean? It means that no one is trusted by default from inside and outside of the network. And the verification is required from everyone trying to gain access to the resources in the network. And it assumes that there are attackers both within and outside of the network. So no user or devices should be automatically trusted. So zero trust is a least privileged access, and this means giving users only much as access they need. Then why we should organization to consider zero trust? Actually, the evidence is everywhere. So most security professionals today agree organizations must adopt a zero trust model into their IT environment, allowing devices to connect to the network without exclusive permission, or allowing devices to move laterally within the network without restricted access will may leave an organization vulnerable. So these are some of the reasons that zero trust model should be adopted. So zero trust is not a production, but it is a kind of the framework, or it is kind of the approach. So buying a security product doesn't give you a full zero trust network into the business. So you need to choose the right product, but more concerned to work with your existing IT policies and compliance for the precise security plan. Of course, maintaining your existing business productivity and continuity, which is as a first priority, much more important. Yeah. Okay, let's check what are the key component. What are the key components of zero trust network security? Companies' IT environment is become more complex. You can find mixed IoT and unmanaged devices, and access from different purpose and different role, access from the wired and wireless, access from different locations. The IT boundary is getting blurred. So the resources that we need to protect is no longer exist only inside our network anymore. So people access from everywhere. The resources we used to use also the everywhere. So we all know the IT environment is no longer the same as before. Of course, the pandemic is make it that way much faster because many people work from the home, right now. So under this maintaining our business is quite complicated, right? Sounds very complicated, but this is very common nowadays, and it is going to be even more complex. So let us find out how to adopt a zero trust model into our business environment. So this is the common characteristics of zero trust architecture. It assumes no one or systems are trusted by default. Everything must be verified before granting network access. It grants less privilege required and continually monitors user in the system of the network. This is Genius' way to approach zero trust network security. First, trust nobody before verifying it. And prove if you are trusted and compromised all the time. And enhance your security with your existing security solution. With Genians, we can have full visibility inside network in real time. It can detect all devices attempting to access the business inside and identify who is whom, how to connect, and connect from where. Authenticate user and provide devices platform and the information of both hardware and software in real time. Deploying Genius network sensor is one of the best ways to have full visibility of the device inside your network. So without changing the existing network topology and configuration, of course. The sensor detects information of both hardware and software automatically. You can have insights of your network all the time. Once you have your visibility, Genians manage the user and devices differently in accordance with the company security plan. It only allows authorized and safe devices access insights based on the role of the user and also security condition of the device as well. With accessing Web Admin Console, administrator recognize who is compromised or not with very intuitive dashboard. After identifying who you are and proving if you are compliant, and the next step is staying safe in a real time. Device security status can be changed all the time. So even if the current status is compliant now, but it doesn't mean that it will be still safe 1 hour later or a day after. So we still need to monitor them during connecting to the business network and block if the device is found out as a non-compliant, and then remediate them and allow access to the inside again. And then after that, we have to must check the endpoint devices all the stay safe. The best way to monitoring the endpoint is deploying the agent. The agent evaluate more deep dive the visibility of the inside of the agent or the PC. So it will provide the device hygiene and check the Windows patch up to date all the time or unnecessary software installed. The agent can be deployed several ways. It can be deployed through the captive web portal, or if you already have an ID, it can be possible. So lastly, as I mentioned in the previous, the earlier page, there's one single solution cannot provide this zero trust security model into your business. You must have, or your customer must have already several security product or third party the business infra already. So the best way to enhance the security level is synergy with existing IT infrastructure with Genians. For example, co-work with the firewall. The firewall find out, we know the IP address for system that the firewall is monitoring and which is vulnerable. Then based on those information, Genians can block, isolate the specific devices that use the IP address. And with the same, we can share the compliant, the log data, the same can have the monitor of the Genians NAC, based on the network and the endpoint part of the vulnerability with the monitor environment. So this is the last slide of the second session. So I will be really happy if you only remember these three things. So first, trust nobody before verifying it. And second, prove if you are trust and compromise every time. So lastly, enhance your security with other existing security solutions. Okay, this is the end of second session. Thanks for watching my presentation. So the next speaker is Young Julie.
Sir, are you done with the presentation or about your the Genians? Sir, for those partners, if you have any question, just kindly give us your question on the Q&A chat box. And also, if we're going to have a question for you, especially before we start the demo of our one of our technicals in Genians. What do you want to know more about the Genians snack besides today's session? Please chat your answer on our chat box so that we may know who's are still up for this morning. Ma'am Sam, while waiting for our partners to chat their answers on our chat box, let us I think let us give them us view or little discussion with regards to Genians. What do you think is good about Genians?
I think what's good about Genians is aside from their NAC
Mm-hmm.
solution, there are also other solutions such as EPI and IPAM.
Yes.
So you can even use it as an inventory system for your IP addresses.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
That's
so
great. Mm-hmm.
aside from its NAC, it offers a lot of different solutions.
Yes. Yes. Unlike other products which also have the IPAM, this one is kind of different, kind of good. Especially this came from Korea where the quality of the products and the quality of the services are 100% as I may. And also because of this Genius Snap, I think we've deployed this on the one of the regions in the Philippines, and the 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 feedback is positive. For those partners, please answer the question so that we continue for our demo. Partners?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning,
uh,
ma'am.
Hello, how are you? Uh, yeah, my name is Yeonju Lee in Genius team. So, can I start my session today?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Yeonju Lee in Genius team, and we also be very appreciated to get this chance to Genius solution and product to you in a Philippine market with the iAID. So, previous session we touched about the Genius company, and it's about also market trend with the Genius Neck, but my session is the Genius Neck 101. This session is about explain what feature Genius Neck has and how we work in your business network. So after you get this session, you will know about the more details about the Genius Neck solution and feature itself. Okay, let's start about my session. My session has the six chapter. They are general information and installation, feasibility, and authentication, access control, and others. I think you may already mess up because there are many chapters in my um, session, but you only remember three key messages. First, why NAC needs your business, and second, what component Genius NAC has, and third, what Genius NAC can see and control in your network during my session. Okay, the first chapter is the general information. As you know, our business has been very various and mixed for achieving the productivity and efficiency in your business. Shortly, PYOD and working with a third party of the guest in your office has become in common. It's no more longer the new one. Plus, due to the COVID-19, working out of the office, especially working your home, we call this work from home, it's getting no longer a new normal, but it is getting into our life. So even these types of the business environment has been brought a lot of business productivity and efficiency. It also has given us the security risk in our business network. So, so I started to create this content for addressing the security risk in our business critical network. Genian answer about that, the security risk, the answer about that, Genian NAC only allowed it the trust safe devices and user in your business critical network. So from the next slide, I'm going to explain how Genian NAC work in your network. The second chapter is the installation. Genians has the four components for operating in your network. They are policy server and network sensor and agent and web-based console. So shortly, it tells about the function. Policy server enforces the devices which are non-compliant with the policy. And second, Genius network sensor, it functions to detect all of the devices and visualize of the all of full visibility of the devices itself. And Genius agent, it is optional to install the Genius agent on your endpoint, but once you install the Genius agent, Genius NAC brings very in-depth of device visibility. And after you install the policy server, you can connect to the web-based admin console that you can navigating to see a dashboard with a full visualized graph and also setting the policy and also see the accumulated log on your network. Please take a look at the diagram in the slide. I put the general diagram today of the Genius neck. As you can see the image in the bottom of the line, there are many types of the devices are accessing to your network. And then there are also multiple vendors of a switch controller on the layer 2. There is one thing I wanted to highlight here. Genius network sensor, which are detect all of devices. This Genius network sensor is deployed on the layer 2. So with this kind of this deployment, there is no additional manual configuration with your existing switches or controller. And Genius can seed 100% devices in a real time, which means that Genius can control on your layer 2. So after detection of these devices, with a predefined the policy, the Genius policy server enforces the devices of the access and control. On the next chapter, I'm going to show you what Genius detect more detailedly. Third chapter is the visibility. So far, we have learned about the deployment of the Genius NAC, but as you know, the NAC solution has its own value with the how accurate of detecting the devices and also how deeply see inside of the detected devices. Please take a see this is slogan. You can secure what you can see. I put this slogan ultimately. I wanted to highlight it how important of the visibility for preventing your business. Um, you can easily find out the software case of the security risk without or lack of the visibility. So please take a look at the three cases that I have brought up today. The first is unauthorized user. You can easily see around that there are a mix of the regular employee and guests working together in your office, in the same network. However, once the guests are attempting your access to your company data, there has a high risk of the data stolen, such as intellectual property or company finance credential. Second, non-latest updated devices. I have found one research over half of the security accident are occurred by non-threat, not an unknown or new threat. I'm sorry, which means that you can secure in your network with the following the basic and essential policy of the always latest updated devices. Third, rogue AP. You can easily find out there are many access points in your network. Sometimes this access point defined as the personal one. It has been brought from your home. There may have high risk because rogue AP causing the regular employee uh, reach to the fake website and make them to download better software of the dangerous one. Okay, let me get to the straight point over here. Genius prevent your network against this risk. With a full visibility, only trust and safe devices can get a glance to access your network inside it. I really wanted to highlight it. The Genius comparativeness is that device visibility, especially full, in-depth, in real time. So to make you a lot more, understand more easier, I divided it into three categories of the Genius detection: network service, device type, and in-depth visibility in the devices. So next slide, I'm going to show you more detailedly what we are providing the visibility. The first layer is the network service. As I have already repeated several times before in the slide before, by the Genius network sensor, which are deployed on the layer 2, you can see the network service with the Genius NAC, such as DHCP and ARP and SMTP protocol. And also you can see the existing switch information of the status and configuration for the management. And plus, wireless LAN also find access point, especially rogue access point in your network. And Genius detect anomaly behavior, which are add full network connection and make an IP clone and port scan as well. Second layer is the device type. Genius detect IoT. Specifying into of this IoT, Genius detect PC, mobile, network appliance, and server, and security appliance, and AP, which is all about the IP devices Genius detect. Plus, with a predefined policy, Genius recognized which one is a guest or not. Third layer is the in-depth visibility of the detected devices. So as much as you can see the devices and its own in-depth visibility of the information, you can create a security policy for securing your business environment. Today, I have brought 6 types of in-depth visibility from the detected devices. First, device attribute. Genius identify the device's IP, MAC, domain, and also authentication status for learning who had these devices and also if the devices has been authorized it or not. Second, Genius hardware information. I'm sorry, device hardware information. Genius shows that its device's mainboard, CPU, and NIC card will providing these types of hardware specification to you. Third, device software information. You can also see that what software or application has been installed and running by the Genius. So with the Genius agent on your endpoint, you can get more software information, and also you can get used to it for your patch management as well. Plus, OS and antivirus information we also providing. So with this, the information, you can use it for your device health check. Um, I wanted to also tell us about the highlighted this one. So sometimes people ignore how important of the known threat, like the always latest of the OS, always latest version of the antivirus. But without that, uh, the known threat paralyze your data and system. And Genian the DPI, we call this device platform information. We're providing this device platform information. So you can also check the device, this device's EOL, end of sale, EO end of life, and EOS, end of sale, and also its own vulnerability. So next chapter is the authentication. So far, we have a lot about the feasibility. So with the collected information of the devices, it is time to deciding who is who. So please take a look at the slogan. So authentication is the process for verifying if the user DB, I mean user's information are already existing in your database. So once the authentication, the user is the subject finally move to the authorization process. Genians has mainly three types of the authentication. So the first one is ID and password logged in. I prepared the two scenarios. The first scenario, new devices. The new devices is attempting to access your business network. Genius redirect these new devices to the CWP page for signing up, creating the ID and password. And second scenario, if the devices is already registered and already authenticated before, but the devices tried to access your network again, Genius, especially the agent, pop up the small boxes that the user fill out its own ID and password and authentication again. This is a very general way of the authentication way by the Genius. Second one is the radius-based authentication. Genians also had its own built-in radius server. So simply you add on the radius supported switch information on the admin console. This radius-based of the authentication of the Genius start to authentication. So this is very easy way, just put the information and collect the enforcement and start it. So um, after that, after we also providing the online documentation how to do it. So you worry about it, how we can do it. Third one is Genius also providing integrate with your existing other authentication system, such as a local database, LDAP, POP3. So you can find out how to integrate with your existing authentication system with Genius by our online documentation. Uh, so I think it takes about just 15 minutes about since I started. So it's quite a long session, I think, but no worry about it. Just to take this session, but feel free because I will share this contents by via iAID. So after this show, you can also see this contents by your more detail and thoroughly with your time. So at this moment, just feel free to watching it and listening in because you have a chance to listen and take this session again by on your time. Okay, the next chapter is the access point. So far, we have seen the visibility and verifying who is who. And the next step, it is finally time to deciding if you allowed these devices accessing your business network or not. I prepare the three types of the process, how Genian NAG control the assets inside it. The first case is the regular employee. Once the Genian NAG detect a new devices, Genian NAG force the devices start to sign up for creating ID and password on the CWP. And Genian NAG, the device's credential is created. The Genian NAG grants the device's access to your network inside it. This is very general way we recommend you for your regular employee. The second one is the guest. I think it's very originally to work together, you and your client in your office. So it is very necessary to dividing you, the regular employee and guest, and grant them access differently. So IT step first created the guest policy on the admin console. And once the guest is attempting to your network, the Genius Neck automatically block them and make them to redirect to the CW page for creating its own ID and password for using your network. So Genius Neck grant the guest only use for internet only with a limited time and limited range. Third one is rogue AP. If you have a trouble of managing your network, you first look at how many unmanaged access points in your network. So I will show you how we Genius identify the rogue AP and control them in your network. To identify the rogue AP, IT step prior to creating the wireless LAN policy on the admin console. So what I mean by here, at this step, define what is the rogue AP. So we first creating the criteria for rogue AP. So one example, AP is using a protocol, right? But if the AP using the protocol which are very vulnerable to the security or encryption, this AP is defined as the rogue one and cannot access your inside of the business network. Okay, we reached to the last chapter of the others. In this chapter, I will simply introduce what you can do with your with the Genius NAC. So let's take a look. I will shortly introduce role-based access control and compliance check on your endpoint and integration with your solution. The first one is role-based access control. We have mentioned earlier the previous slide, even all of PC or other devices, Genius recognize who is who and who should access to where with its own privilege. So normally we recommend you the IT step. The guest client is the internet only use and also regular employee are granted access the level based on its job title and also its own responsibility. You can create the security policy on the admin console so you can managing the differently from the regular employee and guest and also differently all of the regular employee as well. Second one is the compliance check on the endpoint. I recommend you the installing the Genius agent. You can managing the device health check for always secure your business network and endpoint. So as you can see the slide, Genius CWP redirect to the regular employee to install the agent. Not only Genius agent also, but also the antivirus or EDLP as well. Third one is the integration with your existing solution. Today, I just bring one case of the SIEM. With the Genius this scenario, once your database or system is hacked by the other attack, your existing solution of SIEM send you the related log to you, and then you can match it, this log with the Genius NAC IP and MAC address, and you can find that who caused the accident. Uh, this is the end of my session, but before the closing, it takes quite a long time, right? But as I mentioned earlier, we share this content to you after this show. So I really hope that you see this slide more thoroughly, because the once more you learn about the Genius NAG, so you can also confidence how can secure your business network. Thank you all of you guys. The time for us, the Genius session. So this is the end of my session. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma, for that wonderful discussion or presentation about Genians. It's isolation, visibility, SIEM, SIEM, of course, the integration with the other solutions, logs. Thank you about that. Before we continue, I will ask again the question with regards to Genius Snap. What do you want to know more about Genius Snap besides today's session? For our partners, please answer the question so that we may continue for our demo. Partners, good morning. For this presentation, I would like to thank for Mr. Donghan, and of course, for another presentation for this snap is Mang Jun Lee. Thank you for the presentation, and also good morning. For our partners, please answer the provide my questions earlier with regards the what do you want to know more about the Genius Snap besides today's session.